The moon hung low in the sky, casting an ethereal glow over the desolate streets as I made my way home. It was a quiet night, the air thick with an eerie stillness that sent a shiver down my spine. Unease gnawed at the edges of my consciousness, as if some impending darkness lurked just beyond my perception. Turning the corner, I caught a glimpse of movement in the corner of my eye. My heart skipped a beat as I saw a figure standing under a flickering street lamp. It was a clown. A chill washed over me, freezing me in my tracks. The clown's attire was tattered and stained, its oversized shoes scuffed and worn. Its painted face seemed to leer at me, the garish smile stretching too wide, too unnatural. The makeup that once brought joy to children now appeared sinister and twisted, accentuating the darkness that emanated from within. Fear gripped me, yet I couldn't tear my gaze away from the haunting figure. Its eyes, hollow and devoid of humanity, seemed to penetrate my soul, as if it could see the deepest recesses of my darkest fears. I hesitated for a moment, my mind battling between fight and flight, but a morbid curiosity compelled me to approach the clown cautiously, stepping closer, my heart pounding in my chest. With each step, the air grew colder, as if the very essence of joy and warmth was being devoured by the presence before me. A whispered thought echoed in my mind, "Beware of the laughter of the clown." The clown's voice, low and filled with malice, cut through the silence. "Welcome, dear friend," it rasped, the sound sending a shiver down my spine. "Do you dare to enter my twisted world? A place where nightmares reign and innocence is shattered?" The hairs on the back of my neck stood on end as I listened to its words. A sinking feeling settled deep within me, a realization that I had unwittingly stumbled into a realm governed by the dark desires of this malevolent being. "Do you seek entertainment?" the clown asked, its voice dripping with sadistic delight. "Prepare yourself for a show like no other, where screams replace laughter and horror takes center stage." Before I could respond, the clown unleashed a cacophony of laughter, a chilling sound that reverberated through the night. The laughter twisted and distorted, mingling with the shadows that encroached upon the streets, enveloping me in a nightmarish embrace. Panic seized me, and I turned to flee, desperate to escape the grasp of this maleficent presence. But the streets seemed to twist and elongate, the buildings morphing into grotesque shapes that loomed menacingly. The laughter pursued me, growing louder and more deranged with each passing moment. As I ran, my breath ragged and my heart pounding, I could feel the clown's presence haunting my every step. It was as if its very essence permeated the darkness, pursuing me relentlessly through the labyrinthine streets. Eventually, I found myself cornered, trapped in a desolate alleyway. The clown's laughter echoed through the narrow space, surrounding me from all sides. The walls seemed to close in, becoming a claustrophobic cage that threatened to swallow me whole. In that moment, as the laughter reached its crescendo, I mustered the last remnants of my courage. With a defiant scream, I confronted the clown, staring into its empty eyes, refusing to be consumed by its twisted games. And then, in a flash of malevolence, the clown disappeared, leaving only the echoes of its laughter behind. The alleyway returned to its normal state, the shadows receding, as if the darkness itself had retreated. Though shaken to my core, I emerged from that nightmarish encounter with a newfound understanding. Evil can manifest in the most unexpected forms, lurking in the shadows, ready to prey upon our deepest fears. And sometimes we must face our fears head-on, refusing to let them consume us, lest we become trapped in a perpetual circus of horrors.
I've always had a fascination with the horrors. Growing up in a small town, my friends and I would often seek out spooky adventures, eagerly searching for thrills and excitement. We were known as the Fear Seekers, a tight-knit group of 5 friends with an insatiable appetite for all things horror. One gloomy autumn afternoon, our town welcomed the arrival of a long-awaited circus. The poster displayed a grinning clown, with vibrant colors and promises of unforgettable performances. It immediately caught our attention, and we knew we had to attend the grand opening. As the evening drew near, anticipation filled the air. We gathered at my house, exchanging nervous glances and sharing stories of terrifying clowns that haunted our dreams. We were all aware of the fear they evoked, yet we craved the adrenaline rush that only a truly horrifying experience could provide. Dressed in our most comfortable clothes, we made our way to the circus grounds, the sound of our laughter masking the anxiety pulsating through our veins. The sky was heavy with dark clouds, casting an eerie atmosphere over the area. Upon our arrival, we were greeted by an array of mesmerizing sights. A Ferris wheel illuminated by flickering lights, the acrobats practicing gravity-defying stunts, and the scent of cotton candy drifting through the air. Excitement mixed with trepidation as we took our seats beneath the expansive circus tent. The lights dimmed, and the show began. Performers dazzled us with their remarkable acts, filling the tent with applause and awe. But as the night grew darker, a peculiar energy began to seep into the atmosphere, sending shivers down our spines. That's when we first spotted him, the clown. He emerged from the shadows, his painted face twisted into a sinister grin. His costume was a riot of vibrant colors, designed to evoke joy and laughter. However, there was something undeniably unsettling about him, a sense of malevolence that radiated from his eyes. The clown performed tricks and gags, seemingly innocent at first, but with each passing moment, his act became increasingly sinister. He toyed with our fears, taunting us with the things that went bump in the night. The audience's laughter transformed into nervous chuckles as we watched, unable to tear our eyes away. Something wasn't right. It was as if the clown possessed an otherworldly power, drawing us closer to him against our will. The atmosphere grew heavy, as if we were trapped in a nightmare we couldn't escape. Whispers filled the air, as though the circus itself was urging us to confront our deepest fears. Determined to prove our bravery, we made a pact to follow the clown after the show, to see where he would lead us. It was a decision we would soon come to regret. As the final act concluded, the clown vanished into the darkness, leaving behind a trail of crimson balloons. With our hearts pounding in our chests, we followed the eerie path, our curiosity overpowering the whispers of caution in our minds. The trail led us deeper into the circus grounds, where we stumbled upon a dilapidated funhouse. The creaking hinges of the entrance door beckoned us inside. With trepidation, we stepped over the threshold and were consumed by darkness. Inside, the funhouse was a labyrinth of distorted mirrors and shifting corridors. Each step we took was met with a new wave of terror, as though the clown's presence had infected the very walls themselves. Whispers echoed in the shadows, and the sound of laughter, hollow and haunting, pierced our eardrums. Lost and disoriented, we called out to each other, trying to stay together in the face of mounting horror. But as we navigated the maze, our numbers dwindled, one by one. The sinister laughter grew louder, drowning out our cries for help. I found myself alone, the echoes of my friends' voices swallowed by the malevolent forces within the funhouse. Fear clutched at my heart as I stumbled upon a grotesque chamber, filled with mirrors reflecting twisted versions of myself. And there, amidst the distorted reflections, I caught a glimpse of the clown, his painted face, once joyful, now contorted into a nightmare. He beckoned me closer, his eyes filled with a sinister hunger. But something within me snapped, and I refused to succumb to his terrifying allure. Summoning every ounce of courage, I turned and fled through the labyrinthine corridors, desperate to escape the nightmarish circus. The oppressive darkness seemed endless, but finally, a faint sliver of light beckoned me forward. Emerging from the funhouse, I collapsed onto the damp ground, gasping for breath. My friends were nowhere to be found, lost to the sinister whims of the circus. Tears mixed with relief as I realized I had survived, but guilt consumed me as I mourned the loss of my companions. To this day, the memory of that night haunts me. I can still hear the haunting laughter of the clown echoing in the depths of my mind. I've become a recluse, living in constant fear that the circus and its monstrous inhabitants will resurface. So, if you ever stumble upon an old circus poster or hear whispers of a terrifying clown, heed my warning. Stay away. The nightmare that lies within may consume you, just as it consumed my friends and forever changed my life.
I sat alone in my room, the dim glow of the lamp casting eerie shadows on the walls. It was late at night, and an uneasy feeling had settled over me, as if something sinister lingered just outside my window. My friends had all gone home hours ago, leaving me to face the night alone. As I glanced at the clock, its hands ticking relentlessly towards midnight, a sudden chill ran down my spine. I felt an inexplicable urge to look outside, to confront the darkness that enveloped my surroundings. Summoning all my courage, I approached the window and slowly pulled back the heavy curtain. What I saw froze my blood. There, under the flickering street lamp, stood a figure that sent shivers down my spine. It was a clown, adorned in a tattered, multicolored suit. Its face was painted in grotesque patterns, a twisted grin plastered across its lips. The clown's eyes, though hidden behind a mask of white makeup, seemed to burn into my soul with an unholy intensity. I gasped, my heart pounding in my chest. How had this sinister being found its way to my quiet suburban neighborhood? I tried to convince myself that it was just a prank, that someone was playing a sick joke on me. But deep down, I knew there was something far more sinister at play. The clown took a slow step forward, its oversized shoes squeaking on the pavement. My hands trembled as I fumbled to close the curtain, hoping to shut out this nightmarish vision. But when I looked again, the clown was gone, vanished into the night. I thought it was over, that I'd imagined the whole thing. But then a low chuckle echoed through the darkness. It was the kind of laugh that sends chills down your spine and sets your heart racing. The sound seemed to come from all directions, surrounding me with its malevolence. Suddenly, the doorbell rang. The sound cut through the silence like a knife, filling the room with an eerie tension. With each step towards the front door, I could feel the weight of dread pressing down on me. Reluctantly, I reached for the handle and opened the door, revealing an empty porch. Confusion washed over me as I peered into the night, searching for any sign of the clown. Just as I was about to close the door, a gust of wind whispered through the trees, carrying with it the distant sound of laughter. The same chilling laughter that had haunted me before. A cold sweat formed on my brow as I retreated back into my room, desperately trying to comprehend what was happening. The walls seemed to close in around me, the darkness intensifying as if feeding off my fear. I couldn't escape the feeling that the clown was watching me, lurking just beyond the boundaries of my vision. Hours passed, but sleep eluded me. The night dragged on, punctuated only by the occasional creaking of the floorboards and the distant sound of laughter that seemed to grow closer with each passing moment. I huddled under my blanket, clutching my phone tightly, hoping for some semblance of safety. As the first rays of dawn broke through the window, the laughter finally ceased. I breathed a sigh of relief, feeling the weight of the night's terrors slowly lifting from my shoulders. But even as the sun bathed the room in warm light, I couldn't shake the lingering sense of unease. In the days that followed, I tried to convince myself that it had all been a figment of my imagination, a nightmare brought on by exhaustion. But every time I closed my eyes, I could still see that haunting face, that manic growling face, that manic grin. The memory of the clown's laughter echoed in my ears, a constant reminder of the horror I'd endured. To this day, I live in fear of the night, dreading the moment when the sun sets and the darkness returns. For I know that somewhere out there, the clown waits, biding its time, ready to bring its twisted brand of terror to unsuspecting souls like me. And until it is caught or vanquished, I will forever be haunted by that fateful night, plagued by the memory of the scary clown spotting.